These are the top 5 most asked golf questions, right, Tom? And normally we do like in-depth stuff on this show. This is a little bit more for the people who are just getting into golf, because I get it, golf can be scary at the start.
But this is a good sign. It means people are just starting out and they're asking the big questions, which if you're a hardened golf veteran like us, you know the answer to that. But it's a sign that people are out there and they're taking up the sport, so we should love that.
Yeah, also, I had a playing in at a golf club recently, and I've played golf my whole life. And even that, someone who's played golf since the age of 12, it was daunting and scary and quite intimidating, and you start to question, am I doing the right thing? So if you're new to golf, I get how this sport could be a little bit, a little bit scary at times.
Completely insane. Well, listen, let's go through it. Hit me with these questions and let's see if we can answer them.
Okay, the top question is, how far does the average golfer hit it?
Why do you have to start with such a difficult one?
The hard thing about this is they're not asking driver or 7-iron or pitch your wedge. It's just
hit it.
Hit
the ball. I mean, that is a question, how long is a piece of string, I'm afraid. I suppose the starter golfer, once you get down to like a handicap in your 20s or in your 30s, and we'll get onto handicaps in a minute, if you're hitting a driver, which is the biggest, most powerful club, I don't know, Tom, what are we saying, 180, 200 yards if you're just starting?
I think that's about fair. I think anything around 180 to 210 is probably what you'd be expecting with a driver. If you've just started golf, just try and keep that driver down the middle. That's the biggest thing that you're going to be dealing with at the start.
Get it down the middle. The broadest stroke you could make probably is with a 7-iron, which is kind of right in the middle of your range of clubs. Because obviously different clubs hit at different distances and different heights. Roughly broadly, a 7-iron is 150 yards. Most people can build out from that. So anything up of a 7-iron, 8-iron, 9-iron goes less than 150 yards. And anything lower, the number goes up. So hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea.
I had a really good lesson once when I was talking to a pro about carry, and that's the key thing about how far does the ball go. The number we want here is carry distance, not rollout distance, because rollout distance will change as the year goes on. Okay, a really sunny day, it's going to roll out further. A really wet day, the ball's just going to land and not go anywhere. So the most important number is carry. What number did that ball cover when it first hits the ground? And yeah, for a 7-iron, 135, 155 when you just started, probably.
And that carry thing as well is something which, I mean, I'm off a handicap of 5, and I've only just started to really tune into that. Like, I've always known it vaguely, the carry thing, but I've always known vaguely my 7-irons were 160 yards, but I've never properly drilled into it and gone, the carry's 145. Okay. It's really, that's quite an advanced number to get to, but equally, when you're just starting out, it's quite a good thing to know what is my carry, and it will make you sound quite impressive, even if you're off 36. If you've got an 8-iron out and you go, well, I know the carry's 130 yards, people are going to go, player.
This is the second most searched question. What is a par, a birdie, and a bogey?
I mean, I know about one of those, but the other two, they're just a rumour. They're a myth. So every time you play a hole in golf, which is from the tee where you start to the hole where the ball's got to go in, a par is how many shots you are expected to play that hole in. So shorter hole is a par 3. That's the shortest you get. You don't get a par 2. So you get a par 3. You get par 4, which is the majority, where you expect to take 4 shots. And a par 5.
Exactly.
And that's it, really. There's the occasional, there's like a few par 6s in the world, but it's not really a thing. It's 3, 4, or 5.
So let's look at a par 3, for example. If you're on a par 3 and you get it in 2, that's a birdie, because you got 1 under the par. Get it in 3, that's a par. Get it in 4, that's a bogey. On a par 3.
And then if you get it in 5 on a par 3, that's a double bogey. If you get it in 6, that's a triple bogey. If you get it in 7, that's a Tom Green.
Yeah,
so it's good banter, guys. It's good stuff.
Yeah, they're just pick it up, guys. Just pick the ball up at that point.
Yeah, pick it up. That's a huge thing. If you're starting out and you want to keep the people you're playing with sane, don't put a card in straight away. Don't write down all those numbers straight away. When you get to, I would say 10, just pick it up, because otherwise the pain can get too excruciating.
No one cares as well about your level of golf when they're playing with you. No one's judging you. No one's going, oh, this guy's not very good, as long as you are fast. As long as you keep moving and you're not holding up. Remember, all anyone cares about, I hate to say it, is their own game. So as long as you're not affecting that game, do what you want.
Yeah, it's so true. If you are just starting out, just make sure you play at the same pace. Don't be that person. I've played with people off 3 who take ages. I'd rather play with someone who's off 36 who just gets it done. Please, please, please try and keep up with the pace of play. It's a huge issue in golf, because we all know golf takes too long. So if you can just keep up with the pace of play, you're going to be a very popular golfer.
Third question. How do I get a golf handicap?
So what you got to do is put cards in, which means you write down a score across your round, every single hole, and then you either hand that in to your golf club if you're a member, but we all know not everyone is a member these days. So often what you can do is use an app. So here in the UK, we've got a thing called MyEG, England Golf. Actually, it's England technically. And you will put a card in on the app at the end of every round.
Yep.
The important thing to know is you have to have an attester. So that's someone else who you've played with who is also a member of England Golf or a golf club, and they sign it off. So you can't just go out by yourself, write down your scores on a card and hand those in. That's not legit. You have to put the scores in, usually these days on an app. And then crucially, you can't just do one or two. You have to get up to about, I think, is it 6 rounds,
Yeah.
Tom? You have to put a few in.
6 or 8, isn't it, to get your initial handicap? And then once you've done your 20, that's your official handicap.
And then you get an average. And your handicap, by the way, is your average. So say over 18 holes, you're always exactly 30 over par. Your handicap will be 30. And it's just a bit of maths to work out your average, how many shots over par you are over those rounds.
Now, there are a few ways of doing it. As Tom said, you could become a member of a golf club and do it that way. That's the most official way. Or you could join MyEG, which in England, there is a way of just paying for that per year. So you pay 100 quid and it means you can get an official handicap because you put your scores in there. I imagine there's versions of that around the world. Or what all my mates have done is there are now apps where you could just input your score for free and it will give you a handicap. It's not an official handicap. It won't be
It's not official,
It's not official, but it's a really good indicator of what your level of golf is. And if you're like my mates who are playing off 18, 28, don't really care about being official, but just want to have some good indication of what they're playing to, these apps are amazing.
Yeah. It's really good. But the handicap thing these days, if you are new to golf and you just want to play on some courses, it's used as not a license to play, but it's used as an indication that you're going to be good enough to play, which I know is silly because sometimes you could have a low handicap, but you still take ages or carve up the golf course with your club or whatever. But broadly, that's what it's there for. So as long as you've got a number and you look the part and you sort of give off vibes that you know what you're doing, you're going to be able to play in most places.
And that leads us to our next question, which is, what should I wear on the golf course? So many people ask this. So many people are Googling this question because I get it. Once again, as we said at the start of the video, golf could be daunting. What do you wear? Tom, what would you advise someone who's just starting out golf to go and get?
Well, first of all, I'd say, great time to start golf in terms of clothes because it has never been more esoteric and out there and wear what you want. In fact, what Tom and I are both wearing now would not have been okay at most private golf clubs 10, even 15 years ago. Like I've got a hoodie on. Tom's not got a collar on. It used to be, should have a collar on a t-shirt, should have, if you got shorts on, long socks up to your knees, which is a vibe, and you used to have proper golf shoes, right? Totally changed, thank goodness. However, Tom, there are still a few little red lines, aren't there?
Yeah, a few little red lines. I would avoid jeans. Don't wear jeans because people will say something about that at most courses. So don't do that. And sportswear is often frowned upon. When we say sportswear, we mean stuff like football tops, rugby tops, that sort of thing. I would say those are probably the two big red flags would be jeans and rugby tops or football tops. You can wear trainers now. Most golf shoes just look like trainers anyway.
Exactly. And of course, there are going to be exceptions. There are loads of golf courses, pitch and putt, so you can wear what you like. And this might sound like a silly thing to point out, but if you are just starting out, it's worth noting. If you're going to a driving range, wear what you like. You don't need to dress in full golfing kit for your driving range. But golf kit has changed massively, and it's so good, and it's such a good thing, that you can basically wear sports kit because it's almost like golf is becoming a proper sport now rather than an indication of social class.
Don't say it, Tom. Don't say it. I think if you want to be safe, I do think there is value in just sticking some shorts on, sticking a polo on, doing it up, tucking it in, sticking a belt on. You are going to be, if you wear that, trousers, shorts, and a polo, no one is going to say anything. You're going to be so safe. So that's what I always recommend because most people have that in their wardrobe anyway. So you don't have to go and fork out because everyone says this golf is quite expensive, which actually I sometimes disagree with. But yeah, you've got stuff in your wardrobe probably that would do it.
Vinted is your friend.
Yes. Final one. The difference between match play and stroke play, Tom.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll see if I can crunch this explanation down. So match play, basically you don't write a score down on a card. That's the fundamental difference. When you're doing match play, at the end of every hole, the person you're playing against, you and that person, you will say what score you got, right? And whoever got the best score wins that hole. Now, there's variations on that. You can do 2 versus 2. You can do handicaps involved. Let's not get into that right now. So it's a very simple thing to do. And at the end of each hole, whoever gets the best score wins the hole and goes 1 up. Or if you get the same score, you halve the hole and you go on to the next hole.
Yep.
Over the course, your score will start to go 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, 4 up, 3. You lose a hole, you go back to 3 up. You lose another hole, you go back to 2 up. Oh, you win a hole, you go back to 3 up. Until you get towards the end, say you're on the 16th out of 18 holes, and you're 3 up with 3 to play. That means you're something called Dormy 3. You can't lose, basically, unless you go on to another hole. You go on to the 19th. Sometimes people do that, but basically you're going to draw the match minimum. Then you get up to 17th, and say you're 3 up still on the 17th, but with only 2 holes to play. Congratulations, you've won your match play 3 and 2. That's match play. Stroke play. Tom, I'll let you take that one while I have a sip of my tea.
Yeah, the good thing about match play, I think, is if you're watching this video, you're probably quite new to golf. And if all your mates are at a similar level, which you're sort of hacking it about a bit, match play is perfect. Don't think about those big numbers. Just play each other. No need to even think about handicap. Ideal. Stroke play is golf pure is what I would suggest. You write your number on every single hole, and there is a number which is attributed to that golf course, which is normally like a 72 or something. Everything over that is over par, right? That's stroke play. If you get a 4, you write 4. If you get a 7, you write 7. You add them all up, there's your number, you work out what you are over par. Does that make sense? Have I explained that okay?
It's absolutely beautiful, mate. It basically makes sense. Don't worry, though. There'll be some people in the comments who find fault in what we've said, and I look forward to that interaction. Thank you so much for coming here. But I'm really hopeful that people are watching this video because they are just taking up golf. In which case, one overall thing I would say, if you are just starting golf and you are intimidated, which can be a thing, people are intimidated by the golf club and by other golfers, that is mostly in your head. And don't forget that those courses need you there. It's like being at a posh restaurant. You're a customer. They need your business, right? And they are 99.9% of the time grateful to have you there. Another big thing I'd say, Tom, when I was first a member was I felt like other players were looking at me a lot. People would often look up and I felt, is that a kind of looking down their nose at me? Are they looking to see who's this guy playing on the course? And over time I've realised that's because they're just looking to see if they know you, because everyone knows each other on the course.
Yeah.
And they're always looking to see if they can see their mate on the other fairway. So when you get that and you're like, oh, he's looking, it's not a thing where they're going, who the hell are you? They're often going, oh, is that Dave? It's that, just so you know.
And also, you paid to be there, so screw them. Do you know what I mean? It's your thing. Go and enjoy it. Have fun. Golf's great. You'll get better. It's the best sport in the world. I hope this was helpful.
It's also mental torture, by the way. It's also mental torture.
Yes.